Well, I am an atheist, and I got tired of people going, but how can you be moral if you're an atheist? But atheism is a religion, and all these, religion requires God, and a whole bunch of misunderstandings about what religion actually is. So I thought I would give this talk and talk about other kinds of religion. Religion that is maybe less God-focused. Here's part of the problem. I looked up religion on Google, and the very first definition, worship of a superhuman controlling power, especially a personal god or gods. I intend to disprove that definition tonight. Particular system of faith and worship is a lot more like it. Now, caveats, each religion varies widely. I'm going to overgeneralize. I'm not going to get into the details like are Mormons really Christians or not, or even are Catholics really Christian. There is debate on that point, but the Catholics don't like that. So I'm going to just start talking about some religions do have a god. Christianity, Islam, Judaism. Obviously, monotheism, God is really important in those religions. Then there's religions where there's not a god, they're kind of about duty. Confucianism, your duty is to your ancestors. Shinto, your duty is to be this warrior according to a particular moral code. And then there's religions whose main point is politics. Medieval Catholicism, divine kings, the king is God. You know, that's a religion. You have to believe the king is God, or else the king will cut off your head. And religion equals psychology. Buddhism is mainly about human psychology, how to avoid suffering. I think Jainism is also, I know less about Jainism, but Buddhism, a lot of Buddhism doesn't have a god. Religion equals performance. Again, Judaism. There are atheist observant Jews. Confucianism, also, a lot about the rituals that you have to do. Some religions have lots of gods, and there's lots of religions that have lots of gods. Now, does that mean any one god is all-powerful? Probably not. Maybe there's one that's more powerful than the others, Thor, Zeus, whatever. Religion equals culture. So, again, Judaism is a lot about the culture. Confucianism is sort of the backbone of the culture that's built around it. Religion equals spirituality. Wicca, unprogrammed Quaker. It's quite possible to be an atheist Quaker. I almost was, actually. Unitarian Universalist, mainly about exploring the spirituality more than about the Great Sky Father. Some religions are mainly focused on nature rather than on God or yourself. So the main point of these religions is your relationship to nature and important things about nature. Now let me talk about this, you have to be religious to be moral. Especially with the Christian fundamentalists in the US claiming to have a lock on marriage and sexuality. No. Religion does not say there's one true way to have sex or be married. And as far as morality, everything on this slide has been promoted by one religion or another. So religions have lots and lots of purposes, all the way down to shared metaphor. A Hindu once told me, everyone's a Hindu, just some don't know it yet. Some religions really have no God. There's some Buddhist sects that kind of have a god, but a lot of them just plain don't. There's no god. Shinto, Satanism, from what little I understand of it.
Jainism, I thought was more like Hinduism.
It's, well, whatever.
Questions of the hour.
Some religions, God is optional. As I say, there's atheist Jews, atheist Quakers, and some Hindus, I think, are atheist. Is atheism a religion? No, it is not. Some atheists are religious about it, but lots of Buddhists are atheists, and that atheism is not their religion. Not believing in God is normal. There are billions of people in the world. Some of them have religion, some of them do not have a religion, who don't believe in God. Thank you, Ada.
Thank you for. How are you almost a Quaker atheist?
Yeah.
Everybody's question, yes.
Okay, well, I was protesting a war and met a bunch of Quakers and started meeting with them in their meeting for worship. Developed a great respect for them and found that their practice was completely compatible with my atheism. If I had lived there another couple of years, I might very well have joined their community.
You had the intriguing bit that religion does not require the supernatural, and you just said that, but can you condense that? Can you give me the takeaway for that?
Well, so for example, Confucianism is probably a reasonable example. I suppose it's a little supernatural in that your ancestors are still there in a sense. Atheist observant Jews would not necessarily believe in any supernatural, but their religious/cultural practice is still an important religious thing to them. And what we mean by supernatural varies so widely between people. To some, it's there's either God or demons or natural world. To some, it's everything is just sort of numinously shadowed by a spiritual nature that it has in addition to its material nature. Buddhists, I think, kind of just take it as a matter of how the world works that there's reincarnation. So I'm not sure that counts as actually spiritual, and so it's I would call it more metaphysical than spiritual from what I understand. And of course Shinto, of course you from again what little I understand, it's mainly about developing in yourself these human qualities of fierceness, honor, whatever. I don't know if they actually invoke anything spiritual in Shinto.
There can be a lot of spiritual
Okay.
stuff, yeah.
Okay.
It sort of blurs over into like everything has animacy. So you're supposed to be very, very careful and respectful of that edge of the natural world.
Okay, but again, that's animacy rather than...
Depends on what you mean by spirituality.
Yes,
Yeah.
animacy rather than angels and demons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm also an atheist, and when I talk to people who aren't religious, especially more fundamentalist men, they always ask me about where do I derive my morality from, right? And so I'm kind of interested in where it is that you might derive some of your morals from. Like, is there an underlying principle that you like to follow, or have you been inspired by other people's work in that sort of field?
Yeah.
Where do you draw from?
Yeah. A couple of sources. One, I was raised with the habits of Judeo-Christian morality, and some of those I probably just axiomatically follow. Also, I believe it's a good idea to leave things better than you found them. The alternative is that things rapidly go downhill unrecoverably. So leave things better than you found them is, to me, an article of common sense, but it leads directly to morals.
Campsite rule.
Huh?
Campsite rule.
Campsite rule, metal shop rule,
Kindergarten.
kindergarten, yeah.
Well, so you're an atheist, but would you say is there any spiritualism functioning within you? Are you a kind of a spiritual atheist?
Personally, I would say no. I'm very much a materialist. I think the laws of physics, which we currently approximate, we don't know all the laws of physics yet, but I think they're knowable, and when we know them, I think they'll explain everything. Now, I can still appreciate a sunset, and I can still feel a desire in me to be a better me. But no, I don't actually see spirituality of either the angels and demons or the numinous animist kind.
No, but could you see kind of the scientific unknowing to be touched by the unknown in the scientific world.
Yes, but I distinguish the unknown from the spiritual. Ada, you need to be quiet. I distinguish the unknown from the spiritual. There are lots and lots of things that we don't know, but that doesn't mean that they are mystical. It just means that they are mysterious.
I like that.
Yeah.
Good job.
So there is, within the last 20 years or so, a new atheism which claims to scientifically demonstrate that atheism is itself moral.
Okay.
And so I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the sort of negotiation of morals between atheists, scientific atheists, new atheists.
Well, so editorial comments aside, I'm not familiar with the moral arguments of the new atheists. One thing a strong impression that the new atheists leave is that they are religiously anti-religion, which I sympathize with as someone who fled a religion myself. Given the depths of depravity to which human nature can naturally sink, I would be suspicious of the claim that atheism is naturally more moral than other forms of belief. I'd be extremely suspicious of claims that it's less. One thing that I've seen in the religions I'm familiar with is they seem to give people permission to be more themselves. Usually that's not a very good thing. Usually, well, if someone is self-righteous, for example, and they are in a religion that has a strong emphasis on right versus wrong, then a self-righteous person in that religion can be, pardon the expression, a holy terror. Prosperity gospel. You take someone who is selfish. It's not hot.
You're about to find out. Just making sure.
You take someone who's selfish. They may gravitate toward a prosperity gospel church. Now suddenly God is telling them to be selfish. You know.
Justification for immoral behavior. We see that over and over.
Well, to them it's moral.
Yeah.
This is one of my points. Different religions have such widely different moralities. Mass murder was a key core component of the religious celebrations of the Aztecs. You know, that was a religion, as much as Christianity is a religion. Mass murder.
Actually, even in some of the Old Testament.
Christianity is pretty into
Oh no, the Old Testament was about genocide, not mass murder.
Well said.
So yeah, I don't think religion makes people moral. Religion makes people more who they would have been. More who they want an excuse to be.
With that, just a little sigh, the biggest statement. I just, the crucifix that people go through is, and the permissions that people take with religion is.
People do use religion to excuse almost everything, depending on the person and depending on the religion. And very often it's used to excuse various forms of child abuse, which then leads to extreme religion. So it's a real vicious cycle. Yep. Any other questions? Any differing opinions?
I've seen people really pushed to be less of who they are by religion in a way that is kind of useful. I know not the extreme cases, but more of the middle zone of humanity that does have some grounding, where the religion challenges and pushes them to frame things better. This kind of doesn't. This touches a little bit on like the literal definition of atheism and on the definition of religion. But for a lot of people, religions are more like psychological or social structures, and you touched that, but like within those structures, I think it can be really supportive depending on the person.
Okay, so yes.
And the religion, yeah, like there's some real stinkers cult-wise, but.
Yeah, religions can be supportive. I've heard mixed reviews of Alcoholics Anonymous, but they have a spiritual higher power component that some people seem to be helped by. Anything that provides a structure that a person is compatible with, they may become more themselves in a good direction. So in a culture where being a warrior is an important and good and moral thing, Shinto can make you a better warrior. Norse religion can make you a better warrior, where you'll go to Valhalla and fight every day. Woo! I'm not being snide or sarcastic, I'm just saying that is utterly different from the morality of, say, some branches of Christianity where peace is the most important thing. I was unable to think of any universal human value that was supported by every religion I could think of. There was always an exception.
Really? Golden rule? There's supposed to be a golden rule in every religion.
Prosperity gospel.
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's prosperity.
No, I'm saying that prosperity gospel is a license for unbridled selfishness.
So it doesn't
And
follow
so
that rule.
that's an example of something
Calvinism,
that doesn't
if you want.
cover
There's no golden rule
the
there.
golden rule.
Yeah.
Any of
What
the
is
very early
prosperity
Protestants.
Oh, prosperity gospel says God wants his favorite people to be really, really rich. It's basically Calvinism warmed
Oh,
over.
that was our ancestors with the Puritans.
Yeah.
Related
Yeah,
to
it's
Calvin,
the entire
yes.
early
But
first wave of immigrants where you're chosen
We're
or you're
still
not.
we're still living under the thumb of that. With that.
related
No,
data.
Yes,
quite
literally.
serious.
Related.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that is why we don't have, quote, socialism in this country, because you're supposed to pull yourself out of the bootstraps.
Because if you're any good, you'd be rich already.
That's right.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
truly
If God-
believed.
if God
That
liked
is
to-
truly believed by Americans.
If God liked you, you'd be rich already.
And that is
Yeah.
a Puritan belief.
And therefore the golden rule does not apply.
Yeah, but how,
So-
yeah, where's the golden rule?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
right.
It's not.
That's
It's
the point.
not.
It's the other golden rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
You have the gold rule.
Yeah. And I would argue some of the bloodthirsty, like human sacrifice religions. Where's the golden rule in the Aztecs?
Well, if you were any good, you wouldn't be being sacrificed. You sucked as a warrior.
No, in fact, in some of those religions, if they were the good guys got sacrificed.
Oh,
Yes,
that's
we
That
did.
was-
That's
that's
what
also
we went
true.
to.
A moderator
So-
permission to invoke the Elmo rule and just dismiss people in individual group discussions?
That sounds reasonable.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool.
Thank you.